Good evening, Motor Rider World fans, and welcome to our first live interview that's a little bit different to what we're normally doing. We normally chat to sensible human beings that ride motorbikes on tar stuff and don't go ride bikes on all the dirty stuff and climb up rocks and mountains and all kinds of funny things. But it's a new segment to Motor Rider World. We've started the dirty side of Motor Rider World, where we're going to be focusing on Enduro and Extreme Enduro racing in South Africa. We're going to be focusing on national motocross. We're going to be just diving into everything that is the dirty side of South African off-road racing, enduro racing, everything that's dirty in South African off-road riding. So it's a segment that we're very proud to be launching, and we launched it pretty much off the back of what we're going to do tonight. We've been asked to pretty much bring the Motor Rider World brand that we've built over the last couple of months and do what we're doing with the road stuff and do it in the off-road stuff and the endurance stuff. So very excited. I know very little about all the dirty bastards that we're about to chat to that like to ride over mountains and through goat fields and all that kind of thing. But we're going to get to know them. I'm commentating at the first round of the SA Enduro Championship this week, Saturday at the Titans in Hearties. So I'm very excited to be learning more about the enduro scene in South Africa and catching up with all the riders. We've got some of SA's and the world's top international enduro and extreme enduro riders. We're going to be chatting to them tonight. So please join in, share this far and wide. Remember, join in on the live Motor Rider World page to leave your question or your comments. Like I said, we've got a proper celebrity group of riders and other guys involved here tonight that we can chat to. So Bronwyn Holmes, how's it going? Matthew Delgado, Anthony Carrero, I think hopefully I said that right. Wesley Taylor, Richard Potkitter already joining us. So big thank you. So the guests that we do have in tonight's live feed: Brett Swanepoel, Rockstar Energy Husqvarna rider, multiple South African dirty bastard champion because he likes to ride dirty. Travis Teasdale, another multiple South African enduro, off-road, extreme, just do everything when it comes to off-road riding with Teasdale Racing Gas team. We've got Bradley Cox, of course, a very well-known and famous name in South African dirty bastard stuff. He's with the Red Bull KTM team, commentated on him on some national motocross as well. So keen to hear his side and potentially looking at going and doing Dakar and all that kind of silly stuff. So excited about that. Dylan Cox from the RBS Yamaha team. Lawrence Mahoney, former also 6 million time South African dirty bastard champion. Obviously brand manager at KTM Motorcycles now, so we're going to chat to him. We've got Graham Hitchcock, who's just joined us as well. He's the route director for SA Enduro going into the 2021 season. So Mark Landsberg, hello. Rion Davis, thank you so much for joining, guys. Gareth Hope Bailey, thank you so much for joining. It's going to be an absolutely epic chat that we're going to have with everyone tonight. Sean Portman, how's it going? So yeah, like I said, share this far and wide and look out for the dirty side of Motor Rider World coming in future digital issues. And we're going to be doing a lot more chats like this with some of our SA stars and some overseas riders. We already did Wade Young last night. He'll be taking part in round one this Saturday as well. But now we're going to focus on the riders that I've just mentioned. Justin Wellington, how's it going? I'm pretty sure he's going to be out there on Saturday as he is pretty much a suspension guru with everything that is two wheels. And then Jackie van der Merwe, thank you so much for joining us. So let me just quickly introduce one by one everyone. We're going to start with Mr. Brett Swanepoel from the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna squad. Just get Brett to unmute himself, hopefully. Let's see if we can get him. See, these dirty bastards aren't up to pace with it just yet. You see this? We got to wait. Brett, unmute yourself. So I'm going to remove Brett. We're going to go to Dylan Cox while he sorts himself out. Dylan Cox, thank you so much for joining us. You are apparently the 125 high school or the 125cc champion from last year, part of the RBS racing team.
Yeah, last year I managed to get the high school championship, which I'm pretty stoked about. Moving up to the 250 this year, so it's going to be interesting.
Nice. We're going to catch up with you a little bit later. Thank you so much for joining us. One of the big names that we've got here as well is Travis Teasdale from Travis Teasdale Racing with Gas now. Travis, thanks for joining us.
Thanks very much for hosting us tonight, and I'm looking forward to the chats. So, yeah.
Yeah, we got a lot of really cool questions. We're going to catch up with you just now, so stick around. And then up next, a very famous name in South African, anything to do with dirt, pretty much. Bradley Cox from the, I know you're part of the Red Bull KTM team when it comes to MX, and then you're part of the brother leader trade team when it comes to off-road enduro. You're like one of the busiest men in South African motorsport, it seems.
Yeah, no, it is a busy schedule I have, but no, stoked to be here and yeah, very excited.
Cool. We're going to catch up with you just now. Then we got Mr. Luke Walker, part of the Yamaha team. Luke, thanks for joining us. And what are your plans for the 2021 season?
Yeah, shocked for having us. Happy to be here. I'm keen to share my thoughts on racing enduro.
Yeah, excited. We got a lot of questions for all you guys coming up later on. And then we've got Mr. Lawrence Mahoney from KTM, representing the KTM brand, and a former, I think, 5.5 million time off-road and SA Enduro champion. So it's going to be nice picking your brain.
Rob, thanks for having us. Yeah, it will be interesting, and it will be nice to chat with the fast youngsters of today.
Okay, awesome. Stick around there with us, please, Lawrence. And then another man, Graham Hitchcock. Graham, I think your turn. Unmute yourself. Just hit the unmute button. There we go, Graham. Welcome. How's it going?
Hey, no, good to be on board, guys. Thanks for the invite.
Thanks for rushing back. I know you are the route director for the SA Enduro series, so you've been a very busy man. You were only going to come on later, so thanks so much for joining us. So we're going to catch up with you just now. And then finally, there he is, all sorted, Mr. Brett Swanepoel.
How's it? Sorry, bad connection there.
No, don't worry. I know us bike racers aren't as good with computer stuff as we are as riding bikes, so don't stress about it. So yeah, we're going to catch up with you guys in a second. I'm just going to talk quickly about the Enduro SA series going forward. So I got the call from the team pretty much on Tuesday night saying, Rob, we love the MRW platform. Please, we would love to have this to expose SA Enduro racing in South Africa and put it on the same kind of level that you're doing with Motor Rider World and MotoGP and local track racing. So pretty much out of my depth. Like I said, I don't know too much about the dirty side of motorcycling, but you know what? Why not? Let's give it a shot. Broaden the horizons. We did name it Motor Rider World after all to just keep ourselves open to a full world of motorcycling. So excited for the challenge. Like I said, commentating this Saturday and chatting to the team from Enduro SA. They're doing things a little bit differently, and we're going to talk to all the riders, Lawrence, Graham as well, about the things they're doing differently. They've got a new game plan going for the season. They are linked with Motorsport South Africa, so it all is official. The champions will be official national champions through the FIM and everything. And they got the 2 series. So kicking off the Saturday is the Enduro series, which is a slightly slower pace, kind of the rocks, and we're going to find out from all the riders what that is. Then they got the Extreme series, which is a bit more hardcore. They're a bit more towards the Romaniac side. And that. So that's why we've got Graham Hitchcock here, who's the route director for all of this. And we're going to chat to him about the differences between Enduro and Extreme. Because if you're a guy like me and you don't really know what you're talking about, you know, an off-road bike looks like an off-road bike to me. Why one has a headlight and one doesn't, I don't know. Great chat with Wade Young last night. He brought me a little bit up to pace with what's going on. So looking forward to picking some of the biggest and best brains in South African enduro racing later on tonight. So yeah, we're looking forward to the season ahead for SA Enduro. They got hold of all the riders, and they're really involving all the riders and team members to help push the series. It's a 4-round in each series, so 4-round Extreme Enduro, 4-round Enduro for the year. Head over to the SA Enduro page, or Enduro SA page, I should say, backed by MSA, and find out everything that you need to know there. It really is an informative page. It tells you everything you need to know. And like I said, we're going to be exposing it. And as I kind of learn, hopefully I can bring you guys up to date and just educate you more if you're looking to get more involved as well. The nice thing is they've also got the NES series, which is the National Enduro Super Series, combining the extreme, the best of the extreme and the best of the enduro, going at it head to crown like the top 100 riders in the country. But you have to be involved in both series to get yourself ranked. Once you're ranked, you're going to go up against each other to crown the next champion, basically. So if you're a master rider and you think you can compete against the youngsters, well, get yourself a good seating and we can mix them all up. So I love that initiative from the Enduro SA team. And then they're just trying to take the sport to another level. So I'm just reading my notes here because there was a lot when I spoke to them today. They really are just trying to push Enduro to another level. And you'll see by the talent that we got on show here tonight and that we're going to be talking to, I think Enduro racing, especially in South Africa, they all seem to be from KZN. I just think they get bored down there and like to ride their motorbikes because all the talent's coming from there. But we have extreme talent coming through. And I think this was very much needed. And the team from Enduro SA are taking it to another level, and that is why we are going to be chatting to everyone involved here. So I'm really excited. So let's not waste any more time. Let's start off. I've got them pretty much lined up in the studio here with me. So let's start off with Dylan Cox. Dylan, you told us, yeah, you're 125 champion from last year. You stepped up to the 250s this year. Through the RBS Yamaha team, you were with them last year. How fundamental is it keeping a relationship like that, and how comfortable does it make you as a rider and confidence inspiring going into a new season with the same team?
It's just, you know how the mechanic works. You can have trust in him because you know your bike's prepped well. I've been with them for a long time, so I got a lot of faith in them. Good people backing me.
Yeah, and what is the biggest challenge now? Coming from a road racing background, you know, we go from short circuit 100 cc's to 150s to 300s to 600s, then to the big thousands. What kind of a step up is it from a 125 to a 250? Because it doesn't sound like a big step up, but it actually is.
It's definitely a massive step. Just the weight of the bike and how it handles is a lot more than the 125. So the bike's a lot heavier, and especially going to the 4-stroke is a lot more engine braking, and just it handles a whole lot different to 125.
So how does your training now step up? Do you do more physicality? Do you do more gym work to help compensate that weight and deal with the extra weight on the 250, or is it pretty much keep yourself as lean and mean as possible and just make it work?
I definitely try to bulk up a bit to be able to pick up the 250 and deal with those engine braking on the downhills and stuff. So try to get my shoulders a bit bigger, but I struggle with weight, so I'm still lean mean.
Yeah, just eat more McDonald's. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So you were the RBS Yamaha team. What, in terms of motorbike, this is where I get confused. All the manufacturers release these dirt bikes with one with a headlight, one without a headlight. One's a YZF X, one's a YZF R. So what are you going to be racing in the Enduro series when it comes to Yamaha motorcycle?
So I'll be racing the 250 FX, which is Yamaha's Enduro bike. The F is for the motocross. So the FX is the Enduro bike, and I'll be racing that in the J2 class.
So what is that? Combining pretty much the best of a motocross bike with an Enduro bike. Again, I'm not too sure the differences, to be honest. They both go on dirt. They both have dirt tires. So I mean, what is the advantage of having this new Hitchcock, Andre de Cocker, Stephen Kalgogogogogzi, I can never say his name, Bronwyn Holmes, Kimi Enslin, hello Rob, hello Kimi, Ati Herbst, hello Ati. I'm going to be grabbing that man's 2-stroke collection anytime soon. He's got some classic 2-stroke road bikes, not for you dirty bastards, but road bikes. Adrian Holmes, all the way from Mauritius. He loves the dirty bastard side of stuff. So welcome, Adrian, Kimi Enslin, Bronwyn Holmes, Raceworks KTM. Great to have a national enduro just down the road. That's another key point. We normally, well, apparently we haven't seen a national enduro race in the Gauteng area for a very long time, obviously because it's very hard when it comes to finding routes and courses and people to let you destroy their farms and that. And that's why we were hoping to catch up with Wayne Leach. We are hoping to get him a little bit later on the show. He is from Titans, the venue for Saturday, and thank him for letting Enduro SA pretty much tear up his backyard. So yeah, Raceworks KTM, I fully agree. It's awesome to have it back in, and Raceworks is a big supporter of anything that is when it comes to dirty bastards. So hello, Mike Wright, Raceworks So True, Jeff Latham, all the way from Port Elizabeth, one of the best photographers in the land. Hello, Jeff, Brad Clark, Rian Mostert, Rob. Will you be doing Roof of Africa? Rian, don't be stupid, my bud, please. Please don't be stupid. I will never do the Roof of Africa, and we're going to talk to some of these guys. I don't have the patience, I don't have the mentality, I don't have the strength, and I don't have the skill on a dirt motorbike, just plain and simple. Brian Carbot, proud of you, Dylan. Russell Simcox, all the best. Brad, Tian Skuman, amazing seeing you move into the dirty side of things. Yeah, we're going to really just push it and see how we go. Ray Hendy, evening, Rob. Nice idea. Louis Joubert, how's it, Rob? So welcome, everybody. We're going to move now on to dogs and kids and everything. Travis, you're one of SA's top guys racing locally, internationally. You've established yourself as a big name, even for a guy like me that wasn't really following enduro off-road. The Travis Teasdale name, I knew about it. Your 2021 plans, you're running your own team, you're racing locally, internationally. It's going to be a challenging year.
Of TT racing, and my goal is to sort of keep pushing it as a brand. A lot of people know it, so I decided, okay, why not start my own race team? It's been a challenge, but I've got some awesome sponsors on board this year and backing the team, and I got some really good young riders in the team and local talent as well. And then, so basically in South Africa, I'll race in my own team, and then when I go overseas, I'll race in Italian private team called TTR Squadra, based in Italy. So yeah, it's a busy season, but it's been a process. I've come back from quite a injury on my chest, and working really hard with lockdown being in place last year, I said, let's take the good with the bad. Let me work hard on my injury and see if I can come out of this dark sort of phase I was in. And now, yeah, I feel like I'm back where I was in 2017, the strongest I've been. So I'm looking forward and just doing as many races as I can.
Well, you've got a lot of fans here tuning in. Gary Smith, Calvin Kalo, Belinda Teasdale, Cresson, Dean Michau. So, like I said, you're very established, and it looks like you're going red, if I'm not mistaken, here locally with the Gas brand.
Sort of, it's nice to be pushing a new bike on the market. You know, it's exactly the same, made in the same factory as in Austria, but it's just good to be on the red machine.
Now, this is what I want to find out. I mean, for a guy like me from the more road side, here's the new Gas brand. We know it's under the KTM kind of Husqvarna umbrella, the KTM group. How much riding have you done on the bike, and what is the highlight now of this new Gas brand? Because it must be a very tricky exercise for KTM group to release this bike that so many people just think it's a KTM with red plastic, but it's actually not.
Yeah, so basically, it's got a linkage. It was first released around, I think it was around August last year when Taddy went onto the bike. And then the first sights were sort of at Dakar time when Laia Sainz got on the bike, and the bikes arrived, and yeah, it was good to see it. I'm really enjoying the bike. I put a lot of hours on my bike. So basically, I already changed the piston in the first month of training. I'm really enjoying the linkage. It's basically is a KTM and Husqvarna, but it's got to the KTM, it's got a linkage, and to the Husky, it's got a aluminium subframe. So yeah, it's, as soon as I got on the bike, I was happy. I obviously put my cone valves and tracks back shotgun thanks to TBR, and yeah, I felt perfect. And it was obviously my first race of the season, the national off-road, and I put the bike to the test, and I loved every minute on it.
So now, Travis, I want to talk to you with your racing overseas. How important is it that you have a good foundation to go racing here to prepare you for overseas? Now, with the job that the Enduro SA guys are doing, having for the first time in a long time a proper setup here now, going with the extreme route and the Enduro route. I mean, you must be looking forward to obviously the first round this weekend at Titans, but like I said, having a proper foundation here to keep yourself mentally, physically sharp in the saddle, but being pushed at a proper national/international level.
Yeah, so first things first, we got, I would say, the best riders in the world on our doorstep. As we can see as the results, when we go overseas, we are in the top 10, you know. So, and it's awesome to see that Enduro SA has stepped up to the plates and are pushing Enduro racing in South Africa. I know towards the end of last year, it wasn't funny seeing only 50 or 40 entries at the race. And hopefully this weekend the numbers are up, and the amount of effort they've been putting in, with obviously Graham being there. He's been phoning the riders, asking what we want. This is what we need, you know. We race overseas at a top level, and we want to come back and race races that prepare us for overseas. Of course, at the same time, we need to think about the junior riders coming through, which is a massive part about the sport, and obviously the numbers that make it up, all the other guys. So there has to be that happy medium, you know. But it looks like they've changed the format this year, especially at Titans this weekend, opting for not a super extreme race, but more old school enduro style, whereas it's open to everyone to be able to finish the routes. I know some races, the extreme races, are really tough to finish. That's why there's now an extreme series. But having a typical normal enduro series, I think this is what we need in South Africa. And I really hope we get the entries in. I mean, this is our sport in South Africa, and I'm sure everyone watching, we want to see 300, 400 riders back on the start, you know. It's important for the sport and also for our sponsors. The sponsors put a lot of time and money into the sports, and when you arrive at the race, there's only 40 or 50 entries. It's not too funny, you know. So I think that the marketing from Enduro SA has been on top form, and it's cool to see all the riders as well sharing stuff on their Facebook pages. It's really good to see.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I've only really got into this last week, but I can see a huge step up and a huge passion coming from the guys at Enduro SA. So, Travis, thanks. Stick around. We're going to come back to you any second now. We're going to move now over to, guess what, another rider from KZN. Bradley, is it something in the water in KZN, or did you youngsters just get so bored, and do they not sell PlayStations down there? Does everyone just go to your dad's shop and buy bikes and just go ride in the fields?
I mean, it is great that we all do ride here, and yeah, if they do support the shop, that is even better. But yeah, it's pretty special that everyone is it's a top rider is from KZN, you know. Obviously Joburg do have their good riders, but most of them live down here during the year anyway. So it's just the terrain. I mean, you know, we have some of the best terrain in the country, and it shows, you know. And just that everyone's from KZN.
Now, a couple of weeks ago, I was commentating a national motocross race at Terratopia, and Bradley Cox was on a Red Bull KTM racing there once again. Is it something that...
I'm on the team.
Okay, so you're the other side. Okay, so the other side. But
I'm the fun side, the people's champ.
Yeah, sorry, it's your brother Trey Cox who's in the Red Bull.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's such a cool name. My light, his name is Trey as well. He's 5 years, and I named him after Trey Kennard, even though I don't really watch motocross. Yeah, Trey Kennard. I just dig that, and that's our boy. So what is it with this doing motocross, off-road, enduro, and now we'll talk about possibly heading over to Dakar just now. What are the advantages you find? Is it literally just for mental, physical preparation, or is it you're looking to kind of go more in the MX side, or like what's the story there?
You know, Rob, obviously, you know, I grew up racing motocross. It was the first thing I did, you know, the first facet, and I was really successful as a junior, and you know, that led me to moving overseas and competing on the, you know, the European circuit. And unfortunately, I got pretty injured, and I had to come back home, you know, just like rides and that weren't really working out. And I came home and I was racing motocross here, and I think since I've come home, the motocross scene has got really strong. And you know, South Africans are fast in South Africa. You know, you can do pretty well overseas, and you can come back and get smoked on any weekend. So you know, and I just at that time frame, I was sort of not mentally like 100%, you know, with dealing with all the injuries I had in Europe, and maybe that setback. And when I was a kid, I used to race the local hare scramble or cross-country series, you know, just for fun, because, you know, it was a thing to do on the weekend. My dad was an enduro rider, and I did enjoy it. And I mean, Travis and I have grown up together. We live 20 minutes from each other, and Travis was at that age, he's a year older than me, but you know, he was going more into the enduro scene at that 12, 13 age, and Trav raced motocross with me. And then, it was to ride with my buddy Trav. And just in 2017, there was a national enduro in PE, and it was in the sand. And back then, it was still the special tests. And my dad said, "Hey, you should go try it. Like, it'll be for you in the sand, and it can't be too technical." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." And I ended up doing really well. And then I went to the next one and went to the next one. And then before I blinked, I was racing 3 facets. And I still do the motocross just because honestly I love it. Like, there's no better feeling than going fast on a motocross track. And I am still competitive, so I went through a couple of races where I thought, okay, I'm only going to focus on the enduro and that, and then I come out the next race and I do well, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm back. So as much as I, would love to be full-time motocross, enduro and off-road has taken over, and but motocross, it definitely keeps me sharp still, especially for the off-road. It's basically a long motocross track or off-road. So that's pretty much why we're still on the motocross, but at the end of the day, it's still a little bit my number one passion, I'd say.
I wanted to ask you the mental preparation for, and the mental and physical kind of demand on doing all these facets, and how does your preparation differ from a motocross where you could be doing up to 6 heats on a day? I mean, I commentate you guys racing in national motocross, and I get tired. It's just holding a microphone. So, like, watching you guys, that is a different level of mental focus and fitness. How different is it from when you're on the start gate at an MX race to the start of an enduro? Because it's in the dirt, but it's 2 completely different kind of facets.
Yeah, it's motocross is it's the same like a sprinter and a marathon runner. Motocross is a sprint all out for 20-25 minutes, heart rate through the roof. And enduro, your heart rate's still through the roof in the beginning, but then you've got to realize I've got 5 hours of this, and you get into a rhythm, and obviously it does change. But enduro and that, it definitely your heart rate is just as high most days as motocross. But motocross obviously a little bit more intense, just because you've got jumps, you've got ruts, you've got other people around you all the time. Whereas enduro, if you get a bit of a break or you're coming from behind, you're sort of with yourself, and you also got more elements in enduro. The rocks, whatever, the hill climbs, the routes, everything. It changes every meter or so of the track. So that is the difference. And you got to be physically fit. I spend my life either riding a motorbike or riding a bicycle in the gym. You do have to be extremely fit, otherwise it will bite you.
So before we get to the awesome news of potentially having another Cox doing the Dakar, I watch you with your dad and your brother now at the track. Your younger brother Trey Cox is another superstar in the making coming up. I had a younger brother. I still have a younger brother that races with me. Oh, he's not so young anymore. He's 33. But I used to close my eyes watching that guy race, because when he crashed, I wanted to run on in tears and hold him and hug him. How do you handle that? Or is it just like, yeah, he must go out and do his thing. He's a tough little kid.
No, I'm definitely very involved with Trey. I like to tell everyone I'm his manager, but no, I'm very involved with him. Actually, I think when I watch him, my heart rate gets higher than sometimes when I race, just because I'm not in control. And I know what he can do. And him, it was really weird. He never wanted to touch a bike. When I was living in Europe, he hardly rode. He was into school sports. I thought he was going to be this next cricket star, and I was thinking, oh, this could be my retirement plan with cricket. And then I came home, and every time I went to the national, we were kind of not leaving him at home, but so he was super young then. He was like 8 or 9, and I just said, put him on a 65 early, and I said, learn the gears and come race a national. And he was honestly at the back, like it was just a fun thing. And one day in 2018, I went to the track, and it's funny, my dad's never trained myself or my brother. Like, we have Andre Dearden for that, and obviously helps us out, but just with the shop and that, he just didn't have the time for that. So, he was training with Andre at the track we have next door and high stakes, and I rocked up to see the end of his practice, and I was like, is this the same kid? And now he's 2 years later, he's one of the top guys in the pro mini class, and it's definitely special. I just be there as much as I can for him, because I've kind of know what it takes, and he can learn from my mistakes, so we should say. And it's really cool to have all three, and I'm so glad he's found his own way, because it's definitely not easy having the surname Cox. That's for sure. So especially when you're racing. So, and he's becoming a little star of his own, and I hope he can take it further than I can.
Oh, dude, I don't know if that's the answer I wanted to hear, because my little Trey is 5 years old now, doesn't want to know anything about motorbikes, which is a little bit disappointing in one area, but at the other time I'm like, sweet, I don't have the stress of worrying about him. But if you're telling me that 8 years old I've got to worry about, I'm going to watch
the bug bits. But I do remind him, and I think he's watching this up at the house, I do remind him I'm the faster brother still. That crown, and I still just put my foot down every now and then when the dinner table gets heated. You can imagine. You've got Alf, me, and Trey now, so my poor mom.
Yeah, I do the same. I've got to remind my brother more often than not that I'm still the faster one, so he must deal with it. Luke McClellan says, yeah, Brad, how do we become fast like yourself?
Well, you must just look at the lap times from our training today.
Okay, so it's a nice little in-house rivalry going on there. Let's touch on this Dakar thing that's come up now. The awesome news that you entered into the Enduro Rally, I think, which is like kind of a prelim to the Dakar. Tell us what's the story here.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been maybe like that case. It's not when, it's that saying. It's not.
Yeah.
I can't think of it now. But guys, I went into the so I started with Enduro and doing the odd one, and then off-roads. I'd never done an off-road in South Africa, and came in 2018. I decided I was going to do all three, and I raced for my dad's shop, and just did our own little thing, and I managed to win my first ever off-road, not just my class, the overall. So then I was like, okay, I think I kind of have the hang of this. And it was in KZN, and I was like, could it be like a more perfect start to racing off-roads? And then I learned as that season went on, and I finished second that year to Jared Kutsia in the class. It was like 1 or 2 points at the end, and that helped me get the factory ride with Brother Leadertrek KTM, and then I became now this off-road enduro and motocross rider. So, and off-road, it's just so similar to motocross that I really love off-road. It's something just about, and you go super fast, and anyone, I mean, you superbike guys know it's how much you can sit at that 300 k's an hour down Red Star Straight. And off-road's the same, when I was on the 250 and that, I was always pushing the limit. You get to 150, 155, and some days 157, and the 450s can do 170. So you were always pushing on the 250, and now that I'm on the bigger bike, it's just that love for speed. And, when Ross went over, and he did very well, and Kenny also, and I was battling with them a little bit when it was tighter races in the off-roads, and, I could see, okay, they can do well, maybe I can too, and, I just, the opportunity came up to try and start fundraising and get there, and, I got in touch with the Boss KTM racing team, and, it's all systems a go now. So I'll fly out to Spain, and I'll do the Andalusia rally. Well, hoping I get into Spain with COVID. We just don't know what can happen. And then I'll do Rally du Maroc in October, and then Dakar in 2022. And I think it's honestly my next goal I've set for myself. I think as a racer, you always set little goals, but there's always a big goal. And motocross, that was to be like a world champion, and unfortunately, that is not going to happen because I'm not racing motocross on that level yet. And this goal, I mean, I think what's even better is I get advice every night at the dinner table, and that's also pretty special. And I think for my dad, it's cool to see. And I'm super excited for it. Obviously, it's going to be completely different. It's completely different learning curve. With the road book and everything, but I'm in good hands. I have really good support over there from Bart with his team, and Jordi Villadoms with KTM. So I'll be going to his road book school for a couple of weeks. So and then at home I've got Ross and Kenny to lean off, as well as my dad. So it's very exciting.
Yeah, very excited, dude. I'm excited hearing you being excited. So everyone's commenting here, loving the story, loving that you're taking this leap, and we're all going to be behind you. We'll chat to you just now again about getting involved with the fundraiser and that. We're going to move on now. Go grab yourself a nice cup of coffee or some more fast water there in KZN. We're going to move over now to Luke Walker, another rider from the Blue Stable on a Yamaha. Luke, you're another rider that even a guy like me that hasn't been involved really in the enduro or the off-road scene that much, it's been a name that's kind of slowly crept up and slowly starting to take more notice. What are your plans heading into the 2021 season now?
Yeah, I'm just happy to be back by McLaren's Yamaha Racing. The guys are amazing people, and without them, I wouldn't be able to pursue my career and my passion. So yeah, we'll carry on this year working hard, and yeah, it's great to see that Enduro SA has put in a lot of effort, so it gets us more excited. And yeah, I think we're just going to keep the strategy the same for this year and just work hard and slowly lift our game.
Well, we've already got a fan saying hello. Rafael Randora says, how's it? So we spoke to Dylan moving up to the 250 class on the FX bike. What will you be racing? Are you going to be doing both Enduro and Extreme, and on what bike?
Yeah, so I'll be doing both the Enduros and the Extremes, and I'll be doing both of them on the YZ 250X. I've been on the bike for 2 years now, so yeah, feeling really comfortable on it.
And in terms of your team, there's always been road racing, off-road racing. There's always been factory teams and non-factory teams. And in terms of your team, I mean, if you're going up against the Brad Coxes, the Dylan Coxes, the Travis Deasdales, the Brett Swanepoels, all those guys, I mean, how far off are you, or are you on the pace, or is it a case of, well, we've got to settle for being a little bit further behind because we don't have the budget? Or, I mean, what is the difference between the teams there?
There's absolutely nothing wrong with the support. The guys in SA, they really are on top of their game. And yeah, it's good to actually have that, because then it pushes us and we all push each other in a way. But yeah, I've got to work hard to get to the top. I wouldn't say I'm quite there yet, but I'm definitely putting everything I can into it, and I can see progress, which keeps me going and keeps me motivated.
Talking about training and like hours in the saddle to take on the likes of Teasdale, Swanepoel, and all these guys, I mean, is it a case of, cool, I have a Monday to Friday job and on the weekends I get to ride a little bit? Or is it like, no, I've got to commit to this if I want to beat these guys or compete against these guys? Like, how many days a week do you spend on the bike, or do you spend training?
We try to spend as much time as we can on the bike. I would say 3 times a week is a very good week. I'm also studying at the moment, so it's about finding that balance of studying and training as hard as you can and managing your time. But yeah, I would reckon 3 times a week's a good week, and you have to put some time on the bicycle and doing some other cardio fitness when the bike goes in for service or when you can't ride the bike for other reasons. But yeah, it's all about training harder than your competitor, I guess.
And heading into round 1 this weekend of the Enduro side at Titans, I believe it's like a course that no one's really had any experience of, and that how does this play into your hands that everyone's kind of heading into this as a level playing field? There's no track knowledge, there's no upper hand to be had by anyone. It's level playing field.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I haven't ridden there much. I did long ago, and yeah, Joburg riding is very different to KZN riding, and I do think it makes it more of an even playing field, because yeah, if we ride in KZN, a lot of the time the Oaks have ridden that area or whatever, so I think it'll be an interesting race. I'm not too sure what to expect. I think it could be quite fast and tight in some sections, in your face in some sections, but yeah, I think it'll test all of our limits.
Yeah, I think it is going to be a great leveler, and I think everyone's excited from the other guys that we've chatted to, and including yourself now. Everyone's really looking forward to the Enduro and the Extreme side. I think Enduro SA did well by chatting to all you riders, especially some of the newcomers and guys wanting to get into it. And How do you find the split of having the Extreme series and the Enduro series? I think it's a good way to welcome in guys that, like Travis touched upon, don't necessarily have the experience to take on an extreme course, but now you've got the best of both worlds.
Yeah, I think it's great, and a lot of effort has definitely been put in to the new series, and yeah, I think it's good to have both, and then also have the overall NES champion. I do prefer the extreme stuff, or maybe not prefer it. So I'm more used to it, and that's my background. But I do enjoy the faster races. Yeah.
Okay, awesome, Luke. Thanks. Stick around for a couple of minutes. We're going to move over now to someone that's got a very interesting story. He's back with us. I hope he can hear us. Brett Swanepoel. I know he's been having some internet issues, but it looks like he's with us. Brett, you've got a very interesting story that, again, a guy like me who's not following enduro or off-road racing, it was a big news piece a couple of years ago that Brett Swanepoel had this massive crash, potentially career-ending. To be honest, the last I heard was Brett Swanepoel is never going to race a motorbike again. Cool, didn't really follow, didn't pay any attention. Then I come to the Rockstar Energy 2021 team launch, and there's a Brett Swanepoel there with 2 bikes with 2 number 1 plates on it. Tell us about this miraculous recovery and becoming a champion once again.
Yeah, I definitely would have done it without the people who backed me. My team, they've stuck with me through everything. So yeah, it's just been a really long road in that, but just worked hard and didn't give up, I guess. Yeah.
And what happened? I mean, take us through what actually happened, because I've heard various stories. You had a crash, and it was either your arm or your leg was literally just hanging off, and it was the end of it. Just walk us through leading up to the crash, how you felt during the crash, and actually what was this career-ending injury.
So I came up to do a national, actually just a regional event, GXCC. I think a week or 2 before the first national cross country, just to make sure my bike was all set up and that it was a new bike and make sure everything was good. And yeah, probably like 2 or 3 Ks, and I hit a rock sticking out, and I was accelerating coming out of a corner, and I hit it, and it just backed me over. And when I landed, I obviously landed a bit funny, and it literally nearly tore my wrist off. So yeah, my wrist, dislocated elbow and broken collarbone. And then, so that was the 8th of Feb 2018, and literally it was a year of agony. 2018 was an absolute disaster for me. I just literally battled the whole year. I couldn't sleep at night from pain. I was told I'd never ride again, let alone race. So yeah, it was tough. And then moving into 2019, when I started racing again, coming into round 1, I thought to myself, I don't know how the heck I'm gonna race. How am I going to do this race? I still had a lot of pain in that moment. That time I was living on anti-inflammatories every single day. So round 1 came, 6 myoprolol, 6 to 8 myoprolol to get through the race, but we got through, and then yeah, it just got better and better through 2019. Ending the year off with a win, the last round, and then an okay-ish roof, and then coming into 2020, just started off pretty good, and then just got better and better, and managed to win cross country overall and enduro overall. So yeah, couldn't have had a better year last year.
Now, I'm loving the new Rockstar Energy Husqvarna team. I love the tie-up between the international stuff and local. Husqvarna is a brand that not only in South Africa but worldwide is really starting to establish itself a bit more. We all kind of saw it as, the sister brand to KTM, but it's not so much the little sister anymore. It's kind of becoming like the on-par brother now, putting in headlocks and giving wedgies and stuff. I spoke to Goosen on the MX side, and he was saying, being back on the Husqvarna, the technology and the lightweight of the Husqvarna kind of is what he was surprised about. And he was already won first time out in the MX side. what is your highlight of being part of the Husqvarna team, and what makes the Husqvarna bike so good for you in both categories, off-road and enduro and the extreme stuff?
Firstly, what's for me is a big thing is the support is endless. Whatever we need, there's nothing they won't do for us, pretty much. So yeah, I'm very fortunate to have that backing. So yeah, it's very easy to push hard and train hard when you've got a team giving their 100%. So you almost feel obliged to give your 110%. So yeah, we all work together really well. The bikes are really great, and yeah, the new look with Rockstar is really awesome. We were super amped to be partnering with them for this year, and yeah, I think it just brought a whole new look and vibe to our team for the 2021 year. So yeah, we're just looking forward to another great year. It's action-packed with cross-country, enduro, and extreme. So really looking forward to it.
And which side do you lean more towards as a rider, enduro or extreme? Like, which one do you look at and go, cool, I'm really looking forward to the extreme or the enduro?
So I'd say a bit of both. Everyone asks me, why do I do cross-country or why do I do enduro? Why not focus on something? For me, I just love racing my bike. So I love being able to go ride on the motocross track, go ride across country, go ride an enduro, do extreme. Sometimes it gets a bit much, especially when the schedule gets a bit hectic and it's just race. But yeah, I guess it's our jobs and we love what we do. But I'd say probably my first love would be the extreme side, but enduro is very close. And then cross country, I like just mixing up. When I get tired of something, I can switch to something else, which is really cool. So, and I feel like they complement each other. So, with each discipline of racing, I'm working on a different skill set. So, when it comes to enduro and cross country, I'm getting a bit more speed work. Enduro, a bit more speed work in like rocky-ish stuff and that, and then extreme, it's just full-on hardcore riding.
Well, Brett, your story is amazing. Kimmy Ensland comments here, wow, Brett, what an inspiration. And you haven't given up on your determination and brought awesome success. Keep it up and stay safe. And I think that really is, like I said, when I rocked up to that launch and I was speaking to Fred Fincham from Husqvarna and he kind of mentioned the story to me, I was like, but I'm pretty sure this guy was in a coffin and now he's got two bikes with #1 plates on. So, I mean, what is, if I look at the riders that we've just talking to here tonight, and I know there's a lot more. We've got Wade Young taking part in this weekend's round 1 of the Enduro SA at Titans. I mean, what is the realistic and the ultimate goal here? Taking part in all these, do you honestly think it could be a whitewash with all of them? Or, I mean, you've got your work cut out with these guys.
No, definitely. I was actually saying to some people and actually chatting to my dad about this weekend coming, and I'd say this is the most competitive enduro we've probably ever had. I'd say there's probably even 8 to 10 guys who could win this weekend. So it's very tough, and everyone's been working hard. No one's been slacking. Everyone wants to outdo each other. So yeah, I think it's definitely going to be very, very competitive. And then riding with the #1 is also it's quite daunting because everyone looks at you and expects a lot from you. But I do expect from myself. So yeah, of course, like everyone, I'm going there to give my best and hopefully come out on top.
Yeah, awesome, Brett. Well, just stick around. We're going to have a final word with you just now. We're going to move over to Lawrence Mahoney. And yeah, Brett, just maybe don't ride with a big Husqvarna logo on the back because that logo is going to turn into a target, I'm pretty sure, with that #1 plate. Mr. Lawrence Mahoney, growing up, you were kind of the name in enduro racing. I remember doing road racing and people were talking about Lawrence Mahoney and how fit he is. Shut up, man. He rides dirt bikes. Us road racing guys are so much cooler, man. But here you are, semi kind of retired. I know you're retired and you're now brand manager for KTM and Francisco is working you to the bone. But you're still heavily involved, not only in the off-road enduro, but you at the MX races and that. How awesome is it to see this Enduro SA and like all the riders have been talking about now, national enduro racing probably stronger than it's been in a very long time, from a KTM brand perspective and from a Lawrence Mahoney passionate, loving the sport perspective.
Yeah, she's Rob. It's funny that how things change. Obviously, there's a lot of reasons why things change in life. You know, things are getting expensive. There's no new pandemic we're in, makes it very difficult for us to get to events and people getting together. You know, and also the clubs are struggling. It's a business. Every club owner, you know, runs these events like a business. So obviously you need entries to get the funding in to break even and make profit. You know, going back to the days that you're speaking of, there was off-road racing and there was enduro racing. Enduro racing was based upon the FIM standard, where there's special stages, regularity stages. But the riders that raced off-roads was the same riders that raced enduro. So basically, everybody that was racing then was doing everything. Where today it's very professional. I mean, all these youngsters that you've been talking to is really world-class. They're putting in 110% in everything. Their sponsors are putting in 100% in everything. So that just lifts the level 10 times higher than what it's ever been. You know, and saying this COVID story that we involved with does make it difficult, because these youngsters, that's their job, that's their life, and they just want to go race their bikes. So I'm really happy and I'm positive with the way Enduro SA is running the events this year. I think it's a step in the right direction. They're trying to cater for every single customer that they get, you know, be it Extreme Enduro or Enduro. I would really encourage the cross-country off-road guys out there to go and support them on the Enduro side. They're really trying to make it easier, if I can call it that. It's going to be tight. It's still Enduro, but it's not extreme. You will be able to ride your bike around the whole lap and have an enjoyable day. So I think they're moving into the right direction, and I really hope that it's going to work. Like I say, I encourage the cross-country off-road guy out there to go to give an Enduro a go and see if it's something that you could potentially like in the future.
So now, from a KTM brand point of view, I mean, you guys hold the market share of off-road enduro bikes. Anything dirty, it's an orange bike on weekends, pretty much. So why the need to still have this massive presence, to spend all this money, you know, to put the brand through this, to put yourself? And I mean, you and Fran, I don't know how you do it. You're at like just about every motocross race, every off-road race, every enduro race, and now and then you come and do road racing and road launches. I mean, why find the need when KTM's already dominating?
Yes, Rob. You know, it's such an amazing brand. I'm fortunate to be part of this brand. Racing is the core. It's KTM's core. Our slogan is "Ready to Race." You know, every single bike that gets built in Austria that goes out into production is from racing. Development comes from racing. Testing comes from racing. So I don't think KTM could ever not be racing. It's a passion. It's a lifestyle. Their blood is orange. And, you know, we're all competitive out there. We want to go race. We want to compete. And, yeah, it's just, it's you know, it motivates me. It motivates me when we have international meetings with the factory. Their passion is just so real. Yeah. The way they talk, the way they work, the way they drive, the way they motivate all the subsidiaries around the world. It's so motivating, and it's a passion. So I'm loving being still involved with the racing. You know, not racing myself, but the passion of these youngsters is what motivates me. Sometimes I can encourage them and give them some advice, which is nice. And yeah, it's really a passionate brand, KTM.
Now, I want to talk about this passion and how hard Francisco works you to the bone. You're still at the office now, aren't you?
Only because the Wi-Fi is better. Yeah.
I can see. I'm like, I know that cupboard. I've seen that cupboard before.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
listen.
No, look, yeah, we're very busy at the moment. We're just about to launch the new 890 and 1290 adventures. So yeah, it's a lot of presentations that need to be done, and there's racing happening, and but it doesn't feel like work. It honestly doesn't feel like work. It's just living the life and involved with the brand.
Listen, I've got the toughest task probably in your entire life. I know your wife's pregnant now, which is also a very hard task. Trust me, I know. But I've got the toughest task you'll ever experience in your life. Motor Rider World has got the dirty side now. So you have to now invite me onto these dirty launches. And you have to help me become a dirty bastard. So that is my challenge to you for the year, is turn Rob Porter. I know people think I'm a dirty bastard, but in other ways. But you've got to turn me into a dirty bastard on dirt bikes, adventure bikes, and I hate falling over and falling off. So I'm not coming to these to look like an idiot. I want to be a professional by the end of the year.
No, Rob, you're selling yourself short there. You're a legend in your own world. You're a professional, man. You can put your knee down at 300 k's an hour, and not many others can do that. So, yeah, I think it's going to take a couple of dirt samples, but then you're going to get the hang very quickly, and you'll actually surprise yourself. So we're going to have to invite you to all these launches. Yeah, you're going to have to. I'm going to have to get myself some MX kit. The thing with road racing is when I go 300 k's an hour with my knee down, I know that it's a right-hander coming up and I can do that. With you guys, you ride and all of a sudden there's a rock or a hill or a cliff or a goat or a bird's nest or a something. I don't know. Like, you just ride till you see something. Like, I need to know where I'm going. No, look, it does take experience, and I think every single rider out there has learned it the hard way. You only take risks in the long grass and in the dust until you hit something that you didn't obviously see in the dust. But yeah, you learn from that. You learn where to take chances, where not to take chances. And that's another thing, heads off to Greg Horseman and Graham Hitchcock. They're putting in a lot of work to make these events safe for the riders because, like I mentioned earlier, these youngsters, they're training to be super fit. They're training to be super fast. Their sponsors are putting all this effort and money to get their bikes to where it should be. So if these events are not safe enough for these youngsters to really use their fitness and their technology and equipment, then it's pointless. So hats off to Enduro SA for putting in all these work to make their event safe and marking so well. But it's exactly like you say, around every corner, there's something that you didn't know or you don't see. And, it's fun. No, it's not. It's a cock idea. Lawrence, speaking about Graham, we're going to switch over to him. I'm going to let you go because we've got everything we need out of you. Thanks so much. Thanks to you, Fran, the whole KTM brand. We're going to catch up with Fred Fincham from the Husqvarna side and catch up with him because he's doing a phenomenal job there. Just quickly before I let you go home to your beautiful wife and your baby on the way, Gas is now under this KTM group. You guys are going to have to get a new building soon because WP suspension, KTM, Husqvarna, Gas, it's becoming too much. How awesome is it seeing and having the likes of Travis Teasdale representing the Gas brand and having Gas, KTM and Husqvarna under your KTM group all running at the sharp end and being represented so well by some of the best riders in SA and the world? Yeah, she's Rob. It's having the best riders on the Gas brand, which is completely new here in South Africa. Obviously, it's very exciting for us to have another brand in the company. It's like Travis was saying. It's built in the same factory as KTM Husqvarna. It's a really good bike. It's got a lot of potential, and like Travis mentioned earlier, he came out swinging at the first cross-country national, smoked everyone. We sort of expected that. He's a very strong, fit, talented rider, which was tough to beat on a bad day. So with him racing and riding gas in his own team is really good for us. At the moment, we're not supporting a race team from our side. It's the brand is still growing here in South Africa. So to have all these talented youngsters on the brand so soon is really awesome to see.
Okay, nice, my bad, y'all. I'm going to let you go. Now, I'm going to give you a word of advice here. Go home, make a cup of coffee, run a bath, put some rose petals in there for your wife.
My wife is watching, so don't put pressure on me.
No, I'm telling you. Happy wife. Let me tell you something I've learned in life. Happy wife, happy life. Okay. You get home, you make coffee, you run a bath, you buy rose petals on the way home, and you sprinkle them all over the house, my bad.
Thanks, Rob. I'm for sure going to do that. I'll send you photos.
Yeah, please don't send me photos of her in the bath, Lawrence, thanks very much, bud, and keep doing what you guys are doing, and I'll see you on Saturday.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks you so much. All the best, and thanks for the good work.
Lekker, bud. Keep well. See you soon. We're going to now move over to another name that I've heard plenty of, even not knowing enduro or off-road. Graham Hitchcock is a name I've heard for years, and he is the route director for Enduro SA. So basically the man that is going to be the most loved and hated man in extreme enduro racing for the year, because he's the man. Now Graham, I want to know how this works. Do you get a piece of paper and a pen and just draw funny shapes and make a route, and these guys must go race it? How does this work?
No, what I do in the off season, I just attach a GPS Garmin to one of the local dogs of the area, and I just let them go. And then I catch a dog at the end of the season, and I put the track together. No, listen, it's an extremely stressful situation to be in, especially with the mandate that's been given to me by Enduro SA. Grow the numbers, increase the amount of riders that want to come and join the riding, and at the same time increase the level of safety, and also create a track that the mid-pack riders can race and enjoy, and that challenges the top pro riders. And it's the craziest situation to find yourself in, where you've got to actually try and put something together that suits such a vast difference of riding. It was mentioned earlier on, the guys from Natal, the level of riding in Natal, just from those top professional world-class riders from Natal, and then you've got this rather large gap between the mid-pack riders.
KZN, don't do this. You see now, KZN, they can make top riders, but they can make cock internet in the bush. Okay, we're going to try and see if we can get Graham back, because he's frozen, and we'll ask him, Alison Dreamer, why he hasn't shaved. It's because he's been very busy attaching GoPros and GPSs and Garmin's to dogs. So we're going to come back. I'm going to remove Graham. Graham, if you can hear me, just try and sort out your internet if you can. We're going to have a final word then with our riders, starting with Mr. Dylan Cox. So Dylan, just a final word before we let you go. Obviously, good luck for the race coming on Saturday. Can't wait to see you there. I'm going to do a little chat with you there as well, just to we're just trying to explode Enduro SA basically, and give all you riders the spotlight you deserve, show off sponsors and that. But realistically, this weekend you've got some tough opposition, rather you than me, to be honest. What is the goal for this weekend at a track I'm pretty sure you've never been to or seen? What are the expectations?
Yeah, we're going in there a bit blind. We don't really know the track or anything, but realistically, I'd like a top 10 overall. I think that's been my goal for the last year. So I think it's achievable, and we'll see what happens.
Now, Gareth is a good mate of mine from RBS. Is he paying you a lot of money, I hope, to wear that T-shirt, eh?
Nah. No.
He just gives you a motorbike and some gear.
Yeah, that's all I need.
Yeah, look, what I love about Gareth and the whole RBS MR team is just their involvement passionate guy. It must be awesome racing for a guy like Gareth, because you got a team boss, but you got a mate pretty much. So I think you've got yourself in a really good stable there, and I think moving up to the 250 class, you must be excited. But are those nerves starting? We Wednesday now, but when do those nerves start kicking in?
Nah, I don't get nervous. If you've prepared well, there's nothing to be nervous about. Just keep it confident and have a blast.
Nice, good. Good answer. Good, confident answer. Well, Dylan, I'll see you on Saturday. It'll be great to meet you in person for the first time. This is the first time we've actually chatted. I'm excited at seeing all you guys at Extreme and Enduro and just pumping this. So once again, good luck for the weekend, and we'll see you Saturday.
Thanks for having me, Rob.
All the best, bud. So that is Dylan Cox from RBS Yamaha. Moving on to the 250. We're going to move over now to Travis Teasdale for a final word. Travis, team owner on a new brand, going for the #1 plate in Extreme Enduro, racing overseas. Where do you find the time, the energy to do all this?
Yeah, I know. Our time's quite limited during the weeks. I've actually got quite a few, getting some systems in place now, sorting out my life, having some people running some team stuff, and obviously the trainers doing my training during the week. And yeah, it's a busy schedule, and also just trying to find time. I'd also do a lot of training schools during the week, and on the weekends, like I'm up in Joburg now, do a training school on the weekend, train boys during the week. So yeah, I try to set my times during the week just so I can have some also my alone time. It's important for myself to get enough, also a lot of rest. And but it looks like it's a really busy season for me. I'm hoping to fly overseas as well. I hope in about the 10th of April, but things are looking not so promising overseas at the moment, especially going to Italy. They've gone back into lockdown, and also being South African, it's been quite hard getting a visa overseas for a long period to stay there. But we're working on a few things. So yeah, it's been missions, but we're working hard.
And what's the challenge like now? You said in your team you've got some youngsters and that. What's the challenge of trying to go racing flat out and win races and represent this team that has your name on it, and still look after and groom youngsters?
Yeah, so basically, like I said, I've got my sort of systems in place now. I've made sure leading up to the race, I've got everything under control, and then when we get to the race, the guys know exactly what to do, what has to be put up at the races, the entries and stuff need to be done. So sort of that's all leading up to the race. And then like 2 or 3 days before, it's just like, I'm gone. I'm focusing on myself now, I want to get to the race. I need to make sure I'm prepared. I need to make sure my bike's ready. I got a good mechanic looking after me. So the guys in the team know what to do, and they know what they need to do for the team. Nowadays it's so important to make sure you're posting on social media and making sure your brand is out there. So obviously that's a big push for me and the TT brand, especially for this year. It's not a short-term goal. I want to grow the brand as big as I can. Obviously it's hard racing overseas and doing this too, but the team. But other than that, it's fun. I'm enjoying it. I got a good setup at the moment, and things are working well.
Well, nice, Travis. Thanks so much for taking out the time. It's been an honor chatting to you. I'll see you on Saturday. We can officially meet, and yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. I always love seeing guys put back in the sport. When I was also growing up, I had the advantage of having good sponsors and having good connections. It's not what you know, it's who you know. And, it's very easy to be selfish with that. It's very easy to say, yeah, cool, I'm just going to take all of it and not give back. So your kind of story, giving back, a big name like that like yourself that can be overseas and just looking after himself to do the training rides and everything, it's brilliant. So how can people get hold of you if they want to become the next Travis Teasdale with these training schools?
So they can follow him the Instagram page. It's TT Racing and Training. So yeah, just pop a DM and the guys will get back to you as soon as possible. If you want training, obviously it's hard when I'm overseas, but I'm trying to find a system in place now where there'll be coaches available to do the trainings, sort of, it's quite hard because they want to be trained by Travis Teasdale, you know, but I'm trying to work on a system where the guys can choose a coach that know what they're doing. So yeah, give us a follow on TT Racing and Training. There's going to be a competition going soon, so get following. As soon as we hit 1,000 likes, there'll be some awesome prizes up for grabs. So yeah, we're pushing it at the moment. Also on Facebook as well, live updates all the time. And if you want to follow some race progresses over the weekend, I'm sure Enduro SA will have, and we'll be posting on our platforms as well.
Awesome, Travis. Good luck for the weekend, and I'll catch up with you on Saturday.
Cool. Thanks, Rob. Yeah, and thanks, Enduro SA. It's awesome to see you guys doing all the work.
Yeah, we're going to be doing a lot more of this as the season goes on. We'll catch up with you later on, see how your season and that's going. So that's why kind of I've been contacted. We really want to catch up and do this more. If I look at the amount of reach and following we've had tonight and the interaction, I think it's good. I think people like to see, hear the experience rather than just seeing like the pictures on internet and in magazines. This kind of thing, I think it's brilliant. So yeah, I've got your email address now, and we will be in contact very soon.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Have a good rest of your evening.
Cheers. You too, dude. Thank you very much, man. Yeah, how awesome that. Travis Teasdale, one of the top guys in not only South Africa, but international. I did see we had Graham Hitchcock back. So Graham, if you can come back, we're going to finish off with you, but we're going to move over to Bradley Cox now. A final word with you, Bradley. Just heading into this weekend, Titans, like I said, it's kind of a level playing field for everybody. What is your kind of your take on going into this weekend, and what are you looking at doing?
Yeah, I'm super excited that Enduro SA have really taken the time this year to separate the extreme and then the normal enduro. I mean, for a guy like myself, I'm not too big of a fan of extreme. I mean, I'll do it because, you know, I have to. But personally, I'm not doing the extreme series this year just because I've got a bit too much on my plate. So, you know, and with enduro coming back to the traditional way, you know, I've been fortunate where I went to 2 6 days. And that's, yeah, it's special tests and it's fast enduro racing, and I prefer that. So, yeah, we'll see what Graham and the boys have done. But I'm really excited seeing all the pictures in that. I do enjoy Joburg. I've spent some time there testing with my mechanic Kevin Tyra, as well as Justin from Shock Logic with all my suspension and that. So, yeah, I'm pretty confident coming in, especially that it's a bit faster. It'll suit me. But yeah, we'll see what happens on Saturday. Okay,
now this fundraiser, Get Bradley Cox to Dakar, how can people give you their millions?
That would be amazing. No, they can just reach out to me on social media. There are quite a couple posts going around from the sort of news that got broken. My email address is on there, but please get in touch with me. You know, everything helps. I am obviously getting some help over there, but I've still got to find quite a bit of money, and especially with our exchange rate, it's quite a sum. So, I just, you know, really hope and really hope that the South African people get behind me, same like what they did with my dad 20 years ago. You know, and I trust that I've already had such good reach from people, and I really appreciate everyone. But if you would like to get involved with the Dakar fundraising, please just reach out to me, social media, my email address. Anyway.
Cool. Yeah, we'll be pumping it from Motor Rider World, the dirty side as well, because I think it's vital, this kind of thing. I know, you know, from a personal side, mentally, physically, from the whole family perspective, I don't think people quite understand the commitment you've made here. Yeah, it just looks like a kid wants to go race that car. It's so cool. But, you know, there's a lot on the line with this. So to make that commitment, I think it's only right that we all get behind you as much as we possibly can. So good luck for Saturday. I'll see you there. We'll have a quick chat before you go ride with mountain goats and whatever else you guys ride with. And thanks for chatting to us, man. Really, really appreciate it.
No, thank you, Rob. Thank you.
Chat to you on the weekend, man, and good luck. So Bradley Cox, I'm like overwhelmed here. Like I feel like I'm at the Grammy Awards or something with all these guys. So we're going to move over now to Luke Walker. Luke, again, just a final note, what are your expectations for the Titans round 1 of Enduro SA this weekend? Because, again, like I was saying to Dylan Cox, if I look at the competition that you guys have, I think Lawrence Mahoney is quite happy that he's retired.
Yeah, for sure. There's some serious competition. I am originally from Joburg, so I do know the terrain quite well. And yeah, I think it's going to be quite fast, but it's still going to be very testing. And yeah, we're going to be pushing harder. Even if it's faster, it's still going to test our fitness. So yeah, I think it's going to be a tough event. We've got a pretty good setup that works in Gauteng. So yeah, really looking forward to it and keen to get racing, keen to see everyone there at the first round.
So a final little question quickly. I know Yamaha, this FX and X models have been raved about. Yamaha have done a lot of development in that. What are the advantages that you can use over the KTM, the Husky, and now Gas to get yourself in that leading group?
Sure, I wouldn't like to say that there's advantages and disadvantages, but for sure I find my bike a little bit lighter than the KTM, which is pretty cool. And yeah, I've ridden the bike now for 2 years, and I've really got comfortable on it. I'm happy with the suspension, the power, everything just suits me well. The frame and everything.
Okay, awesome, Luke. Well, I look forward to meeting you in person and officially on Saturday. Good luck, and we'll see you there. Stay safe, and yeah, just get good night's sleep. Get yourself nice and rested, because it's going to be a tough one on Saturday for sure.
Cool, shot, Rob. Thanks so much.
Keep well, man. Big thanks to Luke Walker there, one of the Yamaha riders. A final note then, just unmute yourself, Brett. Yeah, there we go. Unmute yourself. There he is. So just a final note then, quickly, Brett. You touched upon it. You've got some proper stiff competition for Saturday, but it's exciting times for Enduro SA with the Extreme and the Enduro side. What are you looking at? What is the goal for Saturday? It's especially because it's a 4-round championship for both, so 8 rounds. But we all know championships can't be won in the first round, but they can be lost. And I think you know that more than anyone else. So what is the goal for this? Is it kind of play out the terrain, check how things are, or is it I'm going flat out from the word go?
For sure, we work towards just going there and getting a good result. But we also can't take any big risks in that and mess up on the day, because, like you said, it's a short championship. Enduro itself, and then Extreme on the other side. Only 4 rounds, so yeah, one bad result can throw you out for the whole year. So yeah, of course we're going there to be on top, but at the same time not take any unnecessary risks. Also racing other disciplines, I can't afford any injuries, and yeah, I just want to go out there. I worked really hard, so hopefully everything pays off and we have a good weekend.
Yeah, awesome, Brett. Thanks so much for telling us your story. It really is an amazing story, and I look forward to chatting to you on Saturday. And yeah, I think you've got to pull out those results. Otherwise, Fred Fincham's going to pull out one of his golf clubs and muri you.
Cool, thanks, Rob.
Lekker, man, Brett. See you on the weekend, and good luck. So yeah, we're just hoping. I know Graham was back for a split second, but it looks like he is having internet problem. Hopefully, we'll get him back. But a big thank you to everyone who's commented and joined in. Kimi Ensslin, love our interactive. You've been all the best to all the riders. What an exciting day to look forward to. The Cape Townians are looking forward to it. So big thank you to you. Ashley Christopher's awesome dirty series. Keep it up. Thanks, Ash. Alison Druma touched upon you. We do have Graham back. Here he comes. So the coach. Yeah, there he goes. The coach, as he's known as. You're back. It's good to see that you're back. Thanks so much for that. Tal, have you got family there?
We are up country, yeah.
Yeah, because who's using your internet? That's the problem here.
No, I'm staying with Brett Stevens, who lives about 3 k's down the road from the Titans facility. So okay. They're looking after us. They've actually had us here. This is the 3rd visit that we've done up country. I think this is going to be our 12th day here. So we've spent a lot of time up here putting this together for you guys.
So yeah, you were telling us, I mean, it is a daunting task at laying out a course that's suited to the more novice riders, that attracts new riders, that's tough enough and competitive enough for the top guys. I mean, again, how have you managed to do this, in all honesty, for not only Saturday coming, but how do you do it going ahead?
You know what? I was lucky enough to have some experience with the kids when I put together that T-Bone series that ran for 3 years. What I did was my whole entire aim was to put together tracks that were fun and tight, technical, fun tracks that focused extremely heavily on safety. And I think in the 3 years and all the races that we held, we had one broken arm and a couple of toes crushed on a stump when a guy went off the track. I mean, and to have that type of record with regards to serious injuries was just the type of thing that I wanted to just replicate now with the seniors. So clever thinking, tracks that allowed riders to test their abilities, but also try and keep it tight and not go too crazy technical with the enduro. Something that the mid-pack riders could also enjoy and get to learn to love again, because in the years gone by, the guys have put together tracks that have catered for the top riders. And as I was saying before, the top riders, these guys are good, and the gap between these guys and the mid-pack are it's just incredible. You know, if you put something together that caters for the top guys, the mid-pack riders can't even finish the lap. So it is a difficult task, but I think we've nailed it. We've absolutely nailed it with this Titans venue.
I think it's brilliant from Enduro SA's side at getting you as the established route director. You're the only kind of guy that's handling all of this, setting it out. All the riders touched upon how they love how you've communicated with them. And I think that's the vital point. Even on the road racing side, a lot of times where racing goes wrong in South Africa is communication. Like you said, if I want to set up the track like that, I'm going to set it up and guys must just deal with it. Well, it can't be. You can do that in Europe where you have 60 million people racing. But in South Africa, like you said, you've got your top guys, which is awesome. They all get sponsored bikes and gear and stuff. The guys that are buying bikes and buying kit and putting money into the industry, we've got to look after those guys, if anything more, because without their money going into it, none of us have factory rides and that. So I think that's a really important point that you touched upon, and I think you've got your hands full. I don't even want to begin to know the kind of work that you guys do behind the scenes. But how different how does it work with us? We were going to have Wayne Leach, who's the owner of Titans. Is this pretty much the guy's backyard that he's just said, yeah, cool guys, just come and ride?
So it works. Wayne is not, the sole owner of land in South Africa. Normally what happens is a farmer, whether it be in Cape Town or whether it be in Natal, there's a farmer with love for the sport, and what he does is he makes his land accessible to us as riders. And then what happens is he gets his neighbors on board, and then it becomes a bit of a favor that the farmers allow the riders to ride on just for that particular weekend, and then obviously then they close their farms down again. Whereas Wayne's slightly different with regards to the fact that he's actually opened his farm up full time. He's got the Titans Racing Club and team that he runs, and from that facility, you should see the terrain here. It's incredible. It's really incredible.
So how is Saturday working then? Give us just a brief idea of kilometers, average speed. I'm a flat out, I want to go 300 k's an hour, hit the brakes and know where I'm going. How challenging is this weekend's race going to be, and how accessible is it going to be for those entry-level novice, not as experienced riders? Okay,
so Trail Freedom Commission, which is the non-profit company that has actually tendered and been awarded the route directorship. I'm obviously heading it up because of my experience, but there's other members within the organization. Trail Freedom Commission decided to sit down and discuss what the main criteria were to make a successful event, because of obviously the mandate that we were given to grow the numbers, look after the top guys, look after the middle of the row, and now bring in juniors, 65cc, 85cc riders. So what we did is we decided to list in order of importance what would be required to run the best event. And first of all, obviously we're not allowed spectators at the moment. but spectators will soon be allowed there. We still have people that are supporting, the pit crew that are still supporting these riders. And what happens is these guys sit in the pits for an hour and 50 minutes, 2 hours at a lap, and they sit there twiddling their thumbs, and then for 10 seconds, their guy races through, goes, and it's gone. And we decided that this was absolutely the worst possible scenario that you could have. So what we've done is within 1 minute walking distance of the pits, the pit crew are actually going to be able to go to 4 different points that they can view their riders, or I'd say between 30 seconds and a minute and a half at a time, and still be able to walk back to their pits and be able to refuel them. Obviously, we don't have spectators at the moment because of the COVID regulations, but when the spectators come on board, we're going to have this waxed. So it's going to be phenomenal. And that's exactly what we did with our T-Bone events. We shortened the laps. We went right down to, I think the shortest lap we had was 8 kilometers. And in the final race of the year, of that 8 kilometers, we could see the kids for 6.5 kilometers from the escarpment above. And this is what will bring back spectators. This is what will give promoters and sponsors the opportunity to bring back the vibe and bring everything back and liven everything up. So that was where we started. And after that, we started setting the tracks. And then what we did is we started catering for the middle of the road guys. And thank goodness Enduro South Africa came up with this amazing plan to split the series. That was a very clever move on their behalf, and it will now offer us the opportunity to really test the guys to their max. But another very clever thing that we've instituted, especially with the Extreme Enduro, is we've actually now created something that those guys that sit around the braai having drinks with their mates can now actually join those extreme rides and test their level of skill.
Yeah.
Because there's a bronze, silver, and gold category.
Okay.
So the gold guys, the top guys, the Matts and the Travis and the Brad Cox and the Will Slaters and you know those guys, those are going to be able to go out there and test their skills to the max. Whereas you're going to have your weekend warriors that are going to be given the opportunity, and thank you very much to Motorsport South Africa for actually doing this. They've given the guys the opportunity to enter, and they're going to be able to go out and test their skills. If they get to bronze stage, at the end of the bronze stage, and they want to then progress on to silver, all they have to do is change the GPS and then push on. And it will give them the opportunity to test exactly how good they are and how much more they could potentially get out of the sport. And then hopefully we'll also encourage entry-level riders to come and participate, which is, at the end of the day, we need the numbers. So, there's a lot. There's a lot involved,
Yeah, it is a lot, but it's exciting. And I think, like a lot of guys are saying here, you know, one of the best decisions, Enduro SA have made a lot of good decisions going into the season so far, from what I can tell. I mean, I've only been in this now. But like I said, splitting the series, Tian Skuman says here, Graham Hitchcock, absolute legend with years of knowledge, helping and aiding the sport, hands down the best decision as route director for the entire Enduro and Extreme series. Well done. So I've had a couple of people comment on that as well. So I think everything's going in the right direction. I think even with, you know, reaching out to like me and, you know, it's something that I wasn't really looking at, but we're all in this together, you know, 2 wheels drive the soul type thing. So I think it's brilliant that we can all just somehow, you know, and like I was saying to Travis, for a guy like you said that the company's non-profit, for you to take out your time and your effort to do this, you know, so many people we've seen come in, even the road racing side, come into the sport, we never hear or see of them again, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But to stick around and still do it, and there's not a lot of money in the motorsport industry. I can tell you that right now. I know people think that I drive Mercedes and Lambos. It's not the case. I use my brother's Kia Picanto type thing, you know. So to put back and to do what you're doing, I think, you know, I commend you guys. I really do, because it cannot be easy. So I'm really looking forward to meeting you this Saturday. I'm really looking forward to chatting to the riders, seeing how this weekend goes and progressing from there. Before I let you go, one guy's asked here, Zach Gulliver, choice of tires for the weekend, because obviously for the intermediate, not so experienced guys, that's quite a big decision to make, I assume, between Enduro and Extreme.
I don't know which question is more difficult, the one that you've just asked me or the one that you asked Lawrence. Not about his wife, but about the multiple brands. So, no, guys, listen. I'm in a position here as route director to endorse a specific brand would not be the right thing to do. All I can say is that a mid-pressure soft mousse with I wouldn't say a super soft tire, but one step down. That would be what I would suggest. But the reason why we got cut off early on was that we've just had a thunderstorm, and it's raining on Friday and potentially raining on Saturday, which means that you may potentially want to look at a slightly softer mousse. I still wouldn't go for a super soft tire, because the way that we've set this Enduro is there's an immense amount of cornering involved. So it's heavy braking, heavy cornering, accelerating, and stuff like that. So you don't want to have a super soft mousse with a super soft tire and have the back all over the place. So I would still want a little bit of a firm feel on the back, and I would want something brand new up front with I'd say semi-soft front. I wouldn't want something too hard. But before you go, I'd like to just say something. The Nationals were great at one stage, and we all loved it. And it's progressively, the numbers have dropped off. If you take 100 riders or 120 riders that have entered this event now, if every single one of those national riders had to go out there and just bring one mate, we would be back up to where we were. We would be styling again. We would be back in the pound seat. And the thing is, and it takes the top riders, the Brett Swanepoels and the Bradley Coxes and all those guys and the Will Slaters that really help on social media. Social media is great.
Yeah.
There's nothing like word of mouth. And by grabbing your little mates that you train by the ear and talking to the parents and saying, hey, listen, guys, you've got to jump in a van. I did it. I've got the guys from Cape Town. You guys are legends. We were nearly 20 of us and then with their pit crew and stuff, we're probably over 30. You're going to hear us in the pits on Saturday. They're going to be chasing their little kids around in their 65s, like crazy parents. They always do. But guys, that is what it is. It's about word of mouth, and the top guys and the national guys need to get their mates back in, especially after they've ridden my track and our track. Trail Freedom Commission have put something unbelievable together. Guys, we'll see you on Saturday.
But Graham, I think the important note there, and I see it from a road racing side as well, we've got a lot of guys, the weekend warriors as you call them, that don't want to go race at national level because they don't want to race against the Clint Sellers and the top guys on the road racing side because they get intimidated.
I can tell you exactly what's happened here. So the people are asking, so why has there been an amateur class introduced to the racing?
Yes.
And you're paying less, but you're riding on the same track?
Exactly.
It's a marketing plan for us. Enduro South Africa and Trail Freedom Commission obviously have to grow the sport. What better way to show the people that have entered the amateur class that they have the technical ability to actually race a national class going forward?
Yeah.
So they're going to have the opportunity for this particular round to race exactly the same track as the seniors and the nationals, the J1, the J2, E1, E2 class, national seniors and masters. They're going to be able to experience exactly what they experience. The 65 and 85s are racing exactly the same track. And we've got huge amounts of marshals that are going to assist. They're going to need to assist because the track is not going to be easy for them. It's going to be tough. But, those kids dig deep. And I think that's what it's all about. Going forward, I don't think we're going to run exactly the same track for them. But thank you very much to Motorsport South Africa for actually giving us the opportunity to run that amateur class at the lower entry fee to try and get the guys here to try and experience exactly what we do at Nationals.
Well, I think that's the key factor is you're catering for amateur riders. So you're welcoming them into Nationals to be exposed to the Swanepoels and that see the setups. I used to love them growing up, seeing Russell Wood next to me, Greg Dreyer, knowing I didn't want to beat them. I mean, I wanted to beat them eventually, but just being there with them, racing on the same track was my ultimate goal. And I think that's what a lot of amateurs need to understand. Come and experience Nationals, but in your own category, in your own safe environment. And I think that is where Enduro SA, along with you and your team, have now opened it up and inviting those weekend warriors, come experience Nationals, but we are catering for you more probably than ever as far as I can hear from everyone.
You know, the weekend warriors are a category, but there's a large percentage of riders there that I would say are way above you know, that weekend warrior category. Those guys actually have the skills, they have the technical riding ability to come to the nationals. But you know, when you go and race a race and then you get thrown into this extremely technical section, which is deemed to be an enduro, and it's not an enduro, it's actually more towards the extreme side of things, people have been scared away. They're now worried. And that's why we are in a really nice position here to start the first round off at nationals with this track here at Titans Raceway next to Hardy's. And I mean, I wish the numbers would have been higher. It would have been really cool. But if these guys go now and spread word of mouth, tell the people about the tracks, and you know, the tracks going forward. The second round is at Ruderberg Farm, then the Western Cape. The guys from Natal and Gauteng have to put their hands in their pockets, put their teams together, and come down and support, because 2 days later you got your first round of your National Extreme Series. That track is looking good too. Yeah, we've had some fun on that track, and also with the gold, silver, bronze categories, the guys are really going to have some fun.
Nice, yeah, Graham. I love the smile on your face. That's.
Oh,
that's
thanks,
positive.
man. I'm so super chuffed. You mean, guys, it's raining here. We've been in the rain, you know, today, and tomorrow we're going to be in the rain again. It's about passion, you know. How much passion do you have? And if you're really serious about it, or if you're just passionate about it, you can bring people to the party and you can bring the numbers.
Just a last question here from one of our watchers, Louis Joubert. What is the difference between WOW and amateur?
We had to categorize it. We had to just give the class a name. So, you know, we didn't want to call the guys that, you know, that we're not weekend warriors, call them weekend warriors. You know, those guys, you got the pros, you got the amateurs, and you got the weekend warriors. We wanted to try and show the guys that although you are an amateur and you're not backed by a big team and you don't have the big money and the numbers and the kits and the new tires and stuff behind you, you're still able to come in as an amateur and come and compete. You know, that's what it was all about. That's what I did at Red Bull Romania. So I mean, I was an amateur, went over there, all the top guys with their big rigs and everything. I feel it was daunting, but you know what? I was still an amateur. I wasn't a pro.
Now, Graham, thanks so much for chatting. So I'm really glad they got the internet sorted out there. I'm excited to meet you on Saturday. I'm excited to see what's going to happen, not only on Saturday and the year going ahead. I think this sounds amazing. It's got me excited, and I've never really been excited about this kind of thing. So, yeah, thanks again, and we'll see you on Saturday.
Cool, man. I just want to say thank you to all the top riders for sharing on social media and helping us out. Thank you guys for your information and taking my calls and listening to me and listening to my ideas. And thank you to all those amateur riders that I've also phoned and I've also spoken to, because I've phoned a lot more amateurs than I have your top pros. And for all of you guys there out racing on Saturday, good luck and be safe.
Thanks very much, Graham. We really appreciate it. Yeah, so get down to the Titans track this Saturday for round 1 of the Enduro SA Enduro series, the Extreme series as well. Keep a lookout on the Motor Rider World page. Like I said, we've got the dirty side that we're going to just start trying to exposing this as much as we possibly can. Big thank you to everyone for all the comments here. Tian Screwans just said thank you. Thank you so much. Kimmy Enslin again. Thank you. Alison Droma. We really appreciate all your support. And we're going to be doing this a lot more. So like I've got all the riders' emails addressed. We're going to bring in 1 or 2 other riders. We'll try and catch up with a couple of amateurs as well. Some of the riders that came from Cape Town. I'll try and stick a camera in their face on Saturday. It's just about exposing the sport. Like I said, I've never really been a dirty rider, an off-road rider kind of guy. But at the end of the day, motorcycles is my passion. So let's blow this up. Let's share this. As Graham said, word of mouth is big. Social media is even bigger. We understand that. We're going to go all out as hard as we possibly can from my side, Motor Rider World side, the dirty side. It's a lot of time and effort out from myself, Graham Hitchcock, the whole Enduro SA, all the riders. So let's just really blow this out of the water. I'm going to download this. I'm going to put it up on the Motor Rider World YouTube channel if you haven't had time to watch it, because it has been over an hour and a half. So you can go watch it there, and I'll share it on the Motor Rider World page. So big thank you to everyone again. Nick Papadimos, excellent show. Thank you very much, Nick. I did ask Wade your question last night, so check out the Wade Young interview I did last night. That's also on the Motor Rider World YouTube channel. And yeah, it's exciting times. I'm very, very excited. I'm happy. I'm not looking forward to getting dirty on Saturday. I hate getting dirty, but I will do it. I will do it for the sport and because I'm a man of my word. So thank you, everyone. Have a good rest of your Wednesday evening. Have a good rest of your week, and hope to see you on Saturday. Thanks, and cheers for now. Goodbye.